Hello there.
And welcome to the channel. Today I've got something entirely different for you yet again. Warhammer 40k. I myself have been in the hobby for about 18 years now, but I've never actually been to a tournament. So I'm about to change that and will attend a small local event this weekend. I figured that maybe you'd be interested in seeing my list, my models, the idea behind what I'll be doing, and a few tidbits of lore that I've come up with for them. I'll link the complete list in the description in case you're interested as well. So this is the army. As you can see, it's an army of Drukhari, or Dark Eldar for those among you who are as ancient as I am. The paint job itself is nothing super special, mostly because I started with it quite some years ago and I didn't want to change it as the years went on and the force grew. The idea is that my Dark Eldar work in a pact between a Cabal, a Witch Cult and a Homunculus Coven, which is nothing unusual in and of itself. But they receive their nourishment not from physical pain like most Dark Eldar, but from the spiritual pain of heartbreak. It's why I've decided to call them the Cabal of the Bloody Kiss, the Witch Cult of the Broken Heart, and the Coven of the Last Embrace. It's also, among other reasons, why they're in this garish pink, as a callback to rose-tinted glasses associated with love, etc. And it also helped me get the idea to fashion the muzzles of the guns in a way that is reminiscent of lipstick. The idea is that they shoot some sort of psychedelic poison that doesn't harm their victims' bodies, but tears them apart emotionally, making them unable to fight back and nourishing the Drukhari with the agony of chemically induced heartbreak. So much for the lore. Let's get into the different units and the strategy. I play the list as a Kabalite Cartel, mostly because I like Kabalites most about the Dark Eldar, and the new rules of the detachment are something I love on a crunch as well as a fluff level. For those who don't know, the TLDR is that you can pick a specific enemy unit to be your contract, and your army is the cartel headhunters who need to kill said target. You then get bonuses for all Kabalite and Blades for Hire units, depending on the target you picked. You get lethal hits against vehicles or monsters if the target is a vehicle or monster unit. You get sustained hits 1 against infantry and mounted units if the target is one of these types, or you get precision against only the target unit if you targeted a hero unit. Once you kill your target, you'll be rewarded additional pain tokens, which sort of symbolize a form of currency in the Dark Eldar society, and will have to select a new contract via the Enemies Without Number stratagem in order to gain your special rules again though. The army is led by one of my 3, actually 4, but we'll get into that later, Archons. I built this guy out of scraps. His legs are from the Scourge kit, his head is an Incubi head, and the tattered coat used to be a Skaven banner. I equipped him with an Agoniser and a Soul Trap, as well as the Webway Awl as an enhancement. He then goes into Deep Strike with a 10-man strong blob of Incubi. This makes him able to rapid ingress for free, so he can take his Incubi to vulnerable points in the enemy's lines. It also keeps him safe, so I can use the Enemies Without Number stratagem on him to change the contract, as you need your Warlord to be alive to use it. The unit is especially deadly against high toughness and safe infantry, because you can switch on devastating wounds with their pain ability. This combines quite well with the Archon, whose Agoniser's Anti-Infantry 3+ ability will turn each wound into a dev wound. Then there's my other 2 Archons. Both have a Soul Trap and a Huskblade, but one has the Informant network to turn my Kabalites and Hand of the Archon into infiltrators, while the other has the Leechbite plate to be a bit more beefy for early game skirmishing. The girl with the Informant network is another self-made Archon that I built from scrap. A witch body was the basis, the coat is made from a Scourge wing, and the fan is just 3 sheets of sail cutouts glued together. If you can't tell, she used to be my Lady Malys before I got the actual kit. The Leechbite Archon is an original older resin model, which I got off eBay. It wasn't super cheap, but I liked the sculpt quite a bit, so I figured it's worth it. He goes into the melee half of the Hand of the Archon and a Venom, making him able to scout up the board and maybe get an early contract kill to get my pain tokens going. The Lady Archon hangs around with Kabalites and a Venom to be a rapid response force whose Huskblade works well with the Kabalite's pain ability. Finally, there's my technically 4th Archon, Lady Malys. I disliked her normal head sculpt, so I intended for her face to be shimmeringly seen through her veil, but I guess I made her look like she has a beard. Maybe a more capable painter than myself could do a better job here. She will be starting the game on my home objective with the gun half of the 2nd Kabalite squad, next to the 3rd Venom with the other half. The idea is to have her sticky my home objective with the Kabalite's ability and have her on the table to use her redeploy, even though I'm not super convinced that the redeploy wouldn't work from a transport the way it's written, but people seem to agree on it, so I'll just play it like this. She can then either walk up the board turn 1 or switch with the other Kabalite squad in the Venom. mostly to get her into position for her Vectora to harass the opponent. As with the Huskblades, her melee weapon's devastating wound also work well with the Kabalite's wound rerolls. This leaves one half Kabalite squad and the other half of the hand of the Archon. They will be using the Infiltrator's ability from the Informant network to deploy near objectives. The hand can then even scout towards an important objective and target it with its OC3 ability, while the Kabalites can sticky my expansion in case I go first. Also, since my hand of the Archon is not the original kit, but built from Kabalites, I've decided to tell them apart by giving them golden shoulder pads in order to avoid confusion, as you can see here. To enable my infiltration strategy, I usually use my 5-strong unit of Mandrakes as a first drop to create a 9-inch bubble where I can infiltrate, scout, etc. I will redeploy them to the back of the battlefield afterwards to screen and eventually use their RP Downy to do endgame actions, take objectives, etc. As you can see, they're still the old monopose resin sculpts, so nothing fancy about them. The Kronos is mainly there to be a non-trivial to remove piece that fights for the center and helps my paint token economy. The most exciting part about him is that he's fully magnetized, so I could actually turn him into a Talos at will. That process took quite a while, but I think it was well worth the effort. Then we have 2 units of jet bikes and a unit of Hellions. They are versatile utility pieces. The bikes with their OC2 and huge move of 16 to 24 inches can either body block or flip objectives and maybe deal a cheeky wound or two with their mortal wounds ability and assault weapons. In Linchpin they can even surprise careless opponents and take away their valuable home objective. The Hellions are mostly a cheap skirmishing unit that can punch up massively, and their models are just so cool. You can basically pose them in whatever way you like and get lots of different and very dynamic models out of the kit. Finally, we've got the hard hitters. 3 units of Scourges with Dark Lances will kill almost anything, especially if they're shooting a contract target. They can then jump back to safety with their move shoot move ability. The Ravager is equipped with disintegrator cannons and has loads of shots. He'll either murder infantry or target vehicles and monsters if the contract allows, because it'll give him re-rolling lethal hits that can proc on 5s with the Tailored Toxin stratagem. This can be dangerous to vehicles and monsters, even if it's only strength 6. As the observant and knowledgeable viewers may have realized, my Scourges and the Ravager are technically not equipped correctly. But I really couldn't be bothered to collect 8 more Dark Lances for the Scourges, and as for the Ravager, I tested magnetizing his guns after the assembly, and they would just come out all crooked, so I just left them the way they are. Maybe I'll magnetize the next one should I ever feel the need to get another kit. Well, that's it. All in all, I've had quite some success with this list so far. As long as I don't jump the gun on my go turn, I'm actually fine, so I'm very excited for the tournament and quite interested in how I'll do. So let me know what you think of it, and if you're interested in updates or other Warhammer related content as well. Leave a like, leave a comment as usual, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!